Okay, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about Apple stock now. So, Apple stock, some really great news that has been posted about a boost in iPhone sales. So let's get right to that article, guys. Okay, so the Street.com posted an article saying Apple shares gain after bullish China iPhone sales data tempts bulls. A China-backed think tank estimates iPhone sales in the world's biggest smartphone market will hit 2.5 million last month. So it basically says Apple shares traded higher Tuesday after data suggests that the tech giant's iPhone shipments in China surged last month as the world's biggest smartphone market began to slowly reopen after the coronavirus pandemic. So basically, it says China government-backed Academy of Information Communications Technology, known as CAICT, said Apple's March iPhone shipments rose to around 2.5 million in March, a five-fold increase from February as third-party retailers came back online following coronavirus-led shutdowns in the world's biggest smartphone market. Apple is expected to ship around 197 million iPhones this year and have reportedly planned to launch a 5G version of the headset as well as other lower price models later in the fall, leading to an sales acceleration in 2021. Okay, guys, so what's basically going on here is that Apple has basically recovered a lot of their iPhone sales in China. So what it's showing is that these blimps are going to be short term, and a lot of people have been waiting to get their hands on an iPhone, but they haven't been able to buy a phone. So perhaps their iPhone, they broke it, or they've been looking to upgrade or anything like that. But the good news is that if the sales rebounded like this in China, we expect them to rebound in other markets like the United States, Canada, and around the world once basically the whole quarantine situation is over. So if you take a look at this, guys, it says he also forecasting 2021 iPhone sales of 181 million units against a street consistence of 212 million. So basically, guys, there might be a small dip in sales, but the good thing is that we know that Apple that has rebounded their sales in China. So okay, guys, so if we go back to Apple, I wanted to show you guys what happened in the previous quarter with Apple. So they posted record income based on the holiday season and with strong demand by their iPhone 11, iPhone 11 Pro models. So guys, Apple was basically generating a ton of money before the whole coronavirus situation. And the good thing is that we expect a lot of that revenue to come back. So basically, what do I think about the stock right now? Well, I'm really beating myself up that I didn't buy a lot of Apple stock when it was down a couple weeks ago, all the way down to 2011. If we blow this up, guys, I want to give you some perspective on how cheap Apple stock was at the moment. It was basically trading around the same level that it was in October 2018. So that was really a missed opportunity for me. I was kind of looking at some other stocks, and I did pick up some other stocks, things like Roku and Tesla and stuff like that. But I really wish I'd kept my eye on Apple more so, knowing that things would rebound once they open everything back up. So where do I think Apple is going right now? Well, this is a very interesting situation, and the fact that there's this bullish news, it should be around the same type of reaction once things open up the rest of the world. And in case you guys didn't see that, I want to go back to the article and point out one thing. It says that as Apple is planning to release lower price models. So guys, what does that mean for Apple stock? Well, traditionally Apple phones have been known as basically an expensive item that only, people, it's like a certain cult type of following, and the average person does not have an iPhone. The average person sells just for an Android, Samsung, a Motorola phone. For you guys in Asia, Huawei is very popular. So basically, Apple has left out a huge segment of the market. So with this lower price model, I'm going to explain to you guys real quick what I think about that. Okay, so as you can see here, this article is posted in January by thestreet.com, and it says Apple prepping to launch a new low-cost iPhone. Apple is set out to roll out a new lower-cost iPhone as the company looks to retain a competitive edge in a global smartphone marketplace. So it says it says citing people familiar with the company's plans, Bloomberg reported that the Cupertino, California-based company suppliers and manufacturers see plans for a new lower-cost model and begin assembling it in next month. The new iPhone could be officially unveiled as of early as March with its roadmap, told Bloomberg. Assembly work for the new handset will be split among Hongha, Persian Industry, Pet to Tron Corp, and Winston Corp guys. So why are they releasing a low cost iPhone? Well, they are really trying to take a lot of those customers that basically the iPhone was out of the price market. So why is this so important? Well, Apple makes a lot of money with their services side of their business, with their app, with their iTunes Music, with their Apple Pay. So what Apple is trying to do is they're basically saying, hey, we'll come out here with a cheaper iPhone, get you hooked in to a lot of these services. So why is this a good news? Well, this is good news because some people have been criticizing Apple, saying that iPhone sales were sluggish and stuff like that. And Huawei, which is basically, in my opinion, the Huawei phone is basically a cheaper knockoff of the iPhone. iPhone is coming out with a lower cost version to take away those buyers in Huawei, because Huawei is a serious competitor. It's very popular in China and Asia, and it is a problem for Apple. So Apple is coming out with that cheaper phone to let those customers say, well, why would I get a Huawei phone when I can just get a cheaper iPhone? So what does this mean for Apple stock? Well, for people that were thinking Apple stock was pretty stagnant, this is an extremely bullish signal. So for me, I really like Apple stock even more. It was way too cheap when it was priced down there. So you guys that picked up Apple stock when everyone was panicking about the coronavirus, congratulations, you did great. But I still think there's a lot of room to run. So let's take a look at that long-term chart again. And I want to show you guys a similar thing. So as we see here, we had the similar situation back in 2018 where Apple shares ran up a ton, then they pulled back, and then they proceeded to run higher. So if I give you guys a look at the long-term chart of Apple, you can kind of understand why this is such an exciting thing. This same trend has happened quite a few times. We've had a peak, then a pullback, consolidation, and then it shot higher. Peak, pullback, shot higher. Peak, pullback, shot higher. So this is just a familiar pattern with Apple stock in general. And as long as Apple continues to pump out these iPhones, add to their services, their Apple Pay, there's so many things going on with Apple stock in general. So this makes this a very attractive long-term investment, guys. Okay guys, so I'm back on Morningstar again. You simply type in the ticker symbol, hit the trailing returns. And the reason why I'm showing you trailing returns, for some of you long-term investors out there, if you're looking for a place to park your money into, and maybe, there's lots of different options you can have out there, I think Apple is a safe place. So we take a look at Apple. Over the last 15 years, the shares have returned around 30% compounded annual growth. That's compared to the broad stock market of 8%. So guys, yes, there's going to be some short-term ebb and flows with Apple stock, but we know that people love their products and we know they have an extremely cult following. And we also know that when people buy Apple products, usually they continue to buy Apple products. They do not want any other cell phone carrier, computer brand, things like that. They stay with Apple for life. So guys, that is an extremely decent investment. You guys, if you're looking for some long-term consistency, can't go wrong with Apple. So guys, that about wraps this video up. For me personally, I'm going to be adding some Apple stock to my portfolio. I'm actually going to be adding this mostly in my Stash Invest. That is, you guys can check out the link in the description if you're interested in that app. But for some of you guys out there, where you guys are using Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or whatever as well, you can pick up fractional share. I know you can pick up fractional shares in Fidelity and a lot of these other apps if you don't have $287 to buy an entire share. Of course, if you have more money to invest, I think right now in the short run, I don't know how long it's going to take, but based on that chart that I mentioned with all of the peaks, as we can see here with the peaks and then the consolidation and then the run up, I think that this pattern has happened 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it's going to happen 5 times now. So that's about 5 times within the last 10 years or so. So this is a very consistent pattern for Apple. When you think it's too expensive, it pulls back, and usually the stock continues to go higher. But of course, now you can't guarantee past results are not indicative of the future. But with a company like Apple, it is so consistent and such a strong brand, hard to go wrong there. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video on Apple stock. What are you doing if you own Apple stock? Are you selling it? Are you buying more of it? Did you buy more? Did you buy Apple stock during that huge dip down there? Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to my channel for more videos, because I post videos on the stock market every day covering other big tech stocks like Apple, Amazon, and things like that. So that's